From where we left off, episode 4 of The Silent Towns by Ray Bradbury. He slowed the car. Wait a minute. We were cut off. Maybe she drove to Marlin Village while I was driving here. She probably took the old C road. We missed each other during the day. How'd she know I'd come get her? I didn't say I would. And she was so afraid when the phone died that she rushed to Marlin Village to find me. And here I am, by God, what a fool I am. Giving the horn a blow, he shot out of town. He drove all night. He thought, what if she isn't in Marlin Village waiting when I arrive? He wouldn't think of that. She must be there. And he would run up and hold her and perhaps even kiss her once on the lips. Genevieve, sweet Genevieve. He whistled, stepping it up to 100 miles an hour. Marlin Village was quiet at dawn. Yellow lights were still burning in several stores, and a jukebox that had played steadily for 100 hours finally, with a crackle of electricity, ceased, making the silence complete. The sun warmed the streets and warmed the cold and vacant sky. Walter turned down Main Street. The car lights still on, honking the horn, a double toot, 6 times at one corner, 6 times at another. He peered at the store names. His face was white and tired, and his hands slid on the sweaty steering wheel. Genevieve! He called in the empty street. The door to a beauty salon opened. Genevieve! He stopped the car. Genevieve Seltzer stood in the open door of the salon as he ran across the street. A box of cream chocolates lay open in her arms. Her fingers, cuddling it, were plump and pallid. Her face, as he stepped into the light, was round and thick, and her eyes were like 2 immense eggs stuck into a white mess of bread dough. Her legs were as big around as the stumps of trees, and she moved with an ungainly shuffle. Her hair was an indiscriminate shade of brown that had been made and remade, it appeared, as a nest for birds. She had no lips at all and compensated this by stenciling on a large, red, greasy mouth that now popped open in delight, now shut in sudden alarm. She had plucked her brows to thin antenna lines. Walter stopped. His smile dissolved. He stood looking at her. She dropped her candy box to the sidewalk. Are you Genevieve Seltzer? His ears rang. Are you Walter Griff? She asked. Grip, she corrected herself. How do you do? He said with a restrained voice. How do you do? She shook his hand. Her fingers were sticky with chocolate. Well, said Walter Grip. What? Asked Genevieve Seltzer. I just said well, said Walter. Oh. It was 9 o'clock at night. They had spent the day picnicking, and for supper he had prepared a filet mignon, which she didn't like because it was too rare, so he broiled it some more, and then it was too much broiled or fried or something. He laughed and said, We'll see a movie. She said, okay, and put her chocolatey fingers on his elbow. But all she wanted to see was a 50-year-old film of Clark Gable. Doesn't he just kill you?" she giggled. "Doesn't he kill you now?" The film ended. "Run it off again," she commanded. "Again?" he asked. "Again," she said. And when he returned, she snuggled up and put her paws all over him. "You're not quite what I expected, but you're nice," she admitted. "Thanks," he said, swallowing. "Oh, that Gable," she said, and pinched his leg. "Ouch," he said. After the film, they went shopping down the silent streets. She broke a window and put on the brightest dress she could find. Dumping a perfume bottle on her hair, she resembled a drowned sheepdog. "How old are you?" he inquired. "Guess." Dripping, she led him down the street. "Oh, 30, he said. "Well," she announced stiffly, "I'm only 27, so there." "Here's another candy store," she said. "Honest, I've led the life of Riley ever since everything exploded. I never liked my folks. They were fools. They left for Earth 2 months ago. I was supposed to follow on the last rocket, but I stayed on. You know why? Why? Because everyone picked on me. So I stayed where I could throw perfume on myself all day and drink 10,000 malts and eat candy without people saying, 'Oh, that's full of calories.' So here I am." "Here you are." Walter shut his eyes. "It's getting late," she said, looking at him. "Yes, I'm tired," she said. "Funny, I'm wide awake." "Oh," she said. "I feel like staying up all night," he said. "Say, there's a good record at Mike's. Come on, I'll play it for you." "I'm tired." She glanced up at him with sly, bright eyes. "I'm very alert," he said. "Strange." "Come back to the beauty shop," she said. "I want to show you something." She took him through the glass door and walked him over to a large white box. "When I drove from Texas City," she said, "I brought this with me." She untied the pink ribbon. "I thought, well, here I am, the only lady on Mars, and here's the only man. And, well," she lifted the lid and folded back crispy layers of whispery pink tissue paper. She gave it a pat. "There." Walter Grip stared. "What is it?" he asked, beginning to tremble. "Don't you know, silly? It's all lace and white and all fine and everything." "No, I don't know what it is." "It's a wedding dress, silly." "Is it?" His voice cracked. He shut his eyes. Her voice was still soft and cool and sweet as it had been on the phone, but when he opened his eyes and looked at her, he backed up. "How nice," he said. "Isn't it? Genevieve?" He glanced at the door. "Yes?" "Genevieve, I've something to tell you." "Yes?" She drifted toward him, the perfume smell thick about her round white face. "The thing I have to say to you is," he said. "Yes?" "Goodbye." And he was out the door and into his car before she could scream. She ran and stood on the curb as he swung the car about. "Walter Griff, come back here," she wailed, flinging up her arms. "Grip," he corrected her. "Grip," she shouted. The car whirled away down the silent street, regardless of her stompings and shriekings. The exhaust from it fluttered the white dress she crumpled in her plump hands, and the stars shone bright, and the car vanished out onto the desert and away into the blackness. He drove all night and all day for 3 nights and days. Once he thought he saw a car following, and he broke into a shivering sweat and took another highway. cutting off across the lonely Martian world past little dead cities. And he drove and drove for a week and a day until he put 10,000 miles between himself and Marlin Village. Then he pulled into a small town named Holtville Springs, where there were some tiny stores he could light up at night and restaurants to sit in, ordering meals. And he's lived there ever since, with 2 deep freezes packed with food to last him 100 years, and enough cigars to last 10,000 days. And a good bed with a soft mattress. And when once in a while, over the long years, the phone rings, he doesn't answer.